like to call a meeting to order, please. Could I have a roll call?
Belsley.
Here.
Blunier.
Here.
Dobb.
Here.
Hare.
Here.
Herman.
Here.
Kaufman.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Counselor. Would anyone like to make a comment in the audience? Would anyone in the audience like to pull anything on the consent agenda? We have the minutes from the July 6th meeting and some bills. If not, could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Second, Tom. Any questions? Call it, please.
Belsley.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Dobb.
Yes.
Hare. Yes. Herman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
I only have one thing I'd like to comment on. The Tazewell Republican Party holds a veterans breakfast every year. It is a non-political event. Sheriff Houston hosted this year. But what I wanted to announce was that Cliff Hasselbacher, who I think you all know from Morton Community Bank, was a World War II veteran, and he was named Veteran of the Year by the group. Village Clerk.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Village Administrator.
I have one item tonight, Your Honor. I'm requesting approval of Ordinance 15-06, which is the appropriations for the fiscal year of May 1st, 2015 through April 30th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Deere. Any discussion or questions? You all received a packet with the changes? If there are none, call it.
Blunier.
Yes.
Dobb.
Yes.
Hare. Yes. Herman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Chief of Police.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Corporate Counsel.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Mr. Kelly isn't with us tonight. Director of Public Works.
I have two items tonight, Your Honor. First, in your packets is the Public Works recap for the month of June. And second, in front of you is resolution number 14-15. This is a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with Morton Community Unit School District 709. And just a short explanation on that. Obviously, I work quite closely with the superintendent of schools, Dr. Hall, and we've been working kind of jointly on oversight and some of those things with their project. And what this is we had talked previously about bidding out some of the work on K Street, and the village participate in the cost of that. With that, we've decided to, with your approval, to bid out that work. Most of this work is within the right-of-way, but it would include the K Street parking, the 25-car parking lot, and then the entrance work off of Jackson. So this agreement takes care of who pays for what, but basically just a joint agreement as it states, to save the taxpayer money by combining it into one contract.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Call it, please.
Dobb.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes. Planning and Zoning Officer.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Trustee Belsley.
I have one item, Your Honor, consideration of resolution number 13-15, authorizing agreement with 413 Properties, LLC, regarding downtown development. And by way of background for this, the board will recall that a couple of years back in 2011, the village board partnered with the EDC and the chamber in creating a vision for the downtown, coming up with a downtown plan. And they utilized the services of professional planning organization Hansel Levine. And out of that, a number of initiatives came that we've already seen happen in the last couple of years, some of which have been facade improvements and building upgrades, and there's others that are under consideration right now. Another item that came out of that was hopefully in a couple months, later this summer, we'll be awarding a construction contract for the improvements at what now is known as Memorial Plaza. And then another initiative that came out of that was cited as a goal to see more residential housing options for our downtown. And earlier this year, the board approved a mixed-use zoning ordinance that really a lot of work and effort went into by not only our planning commission, but and our own staff, Craig and Roger, but also a lot of credit goes to former trustee Steve Newhouse, who spent quite a bit of time and led the charge on that as well. But what came out of that is really what we have tonight before us to hear about, and I'm excited to have the board learn more about this. And this is the first mixed-use development that has come forth as a result that's sort of modeled off of that mixed-use zoning ordinance. And I thought at this time, with your permission, I'd like to turn this over to Justin Farrell. Justin is the real estate broker for this project that's proposed for downtown on West Jefferson Street, and appropriately called Jefferson. And so I'd like to have Justin come forward and give an overview of the project.
Thank you very much. I think most everybody here is sort of at least marginally familiar with what we've been discussing here on this thing. And tonight what I want to talk a little bit about is just a project overview. We'll talk a little bit about timelines and a little bit about kind of how we got here. More detailed information I'm hoping to present at an open house that I'll discuss a little bit here too. Our date is pending, of course, because we're still going through some of this site layout and some of the stuff that we need approval for. But we're hoping that mid-August is probably going to be the date that we all get together, and we'll have a public forum for some of the business members downtown and some of the community members to come and visit and learn a lot more about this. So tonight, I'm going to give as much as I can, but understand that obviously we're still pretty early on. So what we're proposing here, called the Jefferson, is going to be a complete new construction, mixed-use development. This project is, it's seldom that we get to say this in commercial real estate, but it is as close to a home run, first at bat, as you get when you put a mixed-use ordinance together, and then a few months later, you're presenting this. It's pretty terrific. It's a roughly 30,000, we're looking 26 to 30,000 square foot facility, all masonry and block, brick, glass facades in the front, mixed use, meaning the main level, first floor, retail, office. The emphasis is on retail for that first floor. Floors 2 and 3 are residential. The criteria for this residential is going to be, we hate to use these terms, but it's high end. It's 9-foot ceilings. It's excellent build outs, lots of windows, lots of natural light. A lot of the stuff that we're hoping will sort of bring probably a new demographic to Morton, or at least give some people options that they didn't have previously. The main level will have tall ceilings as well. In there, we've already got some preliminary letters of interest from some of the local retailers and some retailers that we have never had here in Morton before. I hope to firm those up pretty quickly once we know this project is locked in and we've got all of our due diligence settled. The hope, obviously, with this is that this is the first of a few of these. The study that Trustee Belsley, discussed had talked about a much larger scope. This is the first real deal we've brought to the table, and it's a real good one. This is a fully funded project. This is a private equity group, and it is private investment. There has been really there's been some requests for some help, but nothing has gone out to EDC or government. This project is one of those that they targeted Morton because of Morton. I mean, frankly, they targeted us because this is a community that has a lot of the same demographics and the same quality and commitment to quality that this project kind of exudes. Roughly, what they're looking at right now is 18 to 22 apartments on levels 2 and 3. That number is subject to change just a little bit dependent on the total footprint of the building, which we're still scaling. But like I said before, between 26,000 and 30,000 square foot. all upscale, obviously, like we discussed. The property is, as far as location is concerned, Plum and Jefferson is probably the easiest way to point it out. Currently, there's a facility sitting on one tract of land. Earlier last year, I believe it was, a property was removed, demoed from that corner. And so that's the overall site that we'll be producing this on. The scope of work is obviously significant. The investment is significant. But the one really good thing I have to say is that the timeline is almost instant. I mean, they have been working on this. We've been going through some site. We've been trying to make sure this is going to work. And with a few more of these types of meetings getting under our belt, we will actually have this thing coming out of ground this year. In fact, we're hoping to be out of ground by September. They're going to start pre-leasing in the spring of 16, and we're going to be running with this pretty quick. It's our hope that this helps incubate and redefine our downtown. I mean, this is economic development at its finest. It's right here. So that's really all I had to present tonight. Again, with the open house pending, at that time, we will have some conceptual drawings. We have already conceptuals of the exterior, which I think most of you have, but we'll have some further conceptuals. We'll also have, at that time, probably some more ability to discuss some of the retailers that we've been talking to and what they're planning to bring. I will also tell you we do have one office client that's already signed to go there as well, and the developer himself plans on putting an office there. So he's going to now make Morton his house, if you will, from where he goes and looks at other communities to do this kind of work with. So there you go.
Thank you, Justin.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
If I could, I'd like to direct the board's attention to the agreement itself, and I was just going to touch on, for the public's benefit, just the three key provisions that are in the agreement. And again, I might say before I do that is, as Justin well knows as well, on large-scale development projects, and not even large-scale, a lot of times, the development agreements between a public body and the private developer can be very thick and very long, with a lot of ifs, ands, or buts in it. And really, to the credit of the developer here and Justin's efforts and our own legal counsel here working on this development agreement, there really comes down to three provisions that are in it. And essentially, you're looking at a small sliver of ground that the property owns that is currently being used as parking lot right off of Jefferson Street and adjacent to this parcel. And in order to help their footprint of what they're proposing for that project work, they're going to need a portion of that property. And so we have that as it comes to approximately 0.1 acres. And we'll be selling that. We've agreed to terms of prices of $10,000 for that parcel. Another provision is that they are granted special use permits that are required based on the project. And with the mixed-use zoning ordinance that we have right now, it calls for a special use permit for mixed-use developments. So they right now have their application in, and a week from tonight, next Monday night's Planning Commission meeting, there'll be a public hearing, and the special use permit for that will be reviewed, as well as a 45-foot height, overall height of the building, and that calls for a special use permit as well. And then the last provision that we have in there, and really for the benefit of the village, is that there be substantial completion of this project within 2 years. And the date that we have in there is September 1st, 2017 on that. Justin's already alluded to some of the next steps. Obviously, the Plan Commission meeting next week. Pending the outcome of that, we'd have that matter brought back before us, the first meeting in August. And again, as that moves along and approval proceeds, site plan review would be done with the village. And like he said, if all things fall into place, we hope to have the agreement and closing on the land, I guess, by the 1st of September, and permits issued, and see some activity there shortly thereafter. Just to recap the project, Justin referred to this as a home run. I call it a dream project for our downtown. It has the significant investment to it. With permission, I'm using the figure here tonight, but we're looking at a $4 million investment with land and building and total improvements. Without a doubt, to the best of my knowledge, I should say, that this is the largest private investment in our downtown to date. So it is very significant. What comes along with it is it's really limited exposure or risk for the village. And that's something that's typically unheard of as well for a large-scale project like this. There's no typical or traditional economic development incentives that are attached to it. TIF districts, enterprise zone, revolving loan funds, assistance with financing of the project from the public sector. None of that is attached to this. And that's all good for the public as well, for the citizens of Morton. It's again, limited participation and low risk by the village. And then the lasting impact on this is immense. The annual revenue off of this project alone, when you look at property taxes, sales taxes, utility taxes, is going to be in the six figures annually. So the return on the investment of this is going to be immediate for the village as well. And so it's sizable impact that we can benefit from for years to come. Obviously, as he alluded to, there's going to be space on that first floor for office, retail, restaurant, and with that will come jobs. So we'll see some additional jobs in the downtown. And then one of the neatest things I think as well with this is you're going to see increased foot traffic, and that's one of the goals cited by the Hassel-Levine plan. It's going to be exciting to see this location drive a synergy that we're looking to accomplish with the plan, and to see for the future of our downtown that you're going to see hopefully foot traffic there and activity after hours and on weekends as well that we don't quite frankly see right now. So all that said, it's a very good thing for our community. We're excited about it and looking forward to seeing this unfold in the days and the weeks ahead. So with that, I would make a motion to approve resolution number 13-15.
Second.
Any additional questions? Call it, please.
Hare.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes,
Blunier.
Yes.
Dobb.
Yes.
that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Blunier.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Trustee Dobb.
Nothing tonight.
Trustee Hare.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Trustee Herman.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Trustee Kaufman.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Call it, please. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?